Former President Donald Trump is far from the first person to be charged for mishandling classified information under the Espionage Act. Trump's own Justice Department enforced that law vigorously. In 2017, federal prosecutors charged Air Force veteran Reality Winner for violating the Espionage Act after she printed out one classified document and mailed it to a news outlet. She pled guilty to a single count. She was nevertheless sentenced to more than 5 years in federal prison. Also in 2017, DOJ prosecuted a former NSA employee for violating the Espionage Act by taking classified documents home. He also pled guilty. He was also sentenced to more than 5 years in federal prison. 2019, another former NSA worker pled guilty to Espionage Act violations for hoarding classified documents in his home office, his car, and weirdly, in a garden shed. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Now, garden shed, bathroom with chandelier, garden shed, bathroom with chandelier. I know it's hard. But in some ways, we have been here before. We've seen plenty of people charged under the Espionage Act and sentenced to years in prison, even after pleading guilty, which is the sort of thing that's supposed to get you lenient treatment. Today, former President Trump pled not guilty. That's where his story diverges from these others thus far. Our friend Andrew Weissman is with us once again. Andrew, you said on TV today, and you've said it before, that part of the Justice Department's job is to treat like cases alike. Do you think that there is a sort of litany of those kinds of recent examples about how these cases have been prosecuted against non-former presidents that's going to play a role in the courtroom, both in terms of what DOJ asks for and from what's expected of the defendants during trial?
It could play a role pre-trial. In court, it really shouldn't come in. But I do think it could play a role pre-trial, and I think it's going to play an important role outside of the courtroom. It's really what Nikki Haley was getting at when she said, this is what I saw at the United Nations in so-called third world countries or, banana republics. There's a disparaging term. To say, people are singled out who are political opponents. And that's where the Department of Justice's prior history of who has been prosecuted is so critical. It's one of the reasons I and many other people have talked about the Department of Justice being more public about what they have done, because Democrats and Republicans who have violated this law have been prosecuted, and lots of people, as you've noted, have gone to jail for it. That is just such an important point that distinguishes us from so-called third world countries where you bring a show trial against a political opponent. Here, if you see that documented history, that the facts are public, it's really impossible to make the argument that Donald Trump was singled out. In fact, if he were not prosecuted, that would have been singling him out.
What do you all think about whether or not this is about to become a live political issue? This question of having an audio broadcast of the court proceedings, potentially having cameras in court, although that seems very far-fetched for federal court. I mean, are we about to have politics over that question in this trial?
I don't know if it's politics, but there's obviously a great deal of interest in this, a great deal of national interest in this and public interest in this. And I think if you're a person sitting at home, you want to know what was said in there. What can I learn about this? What was he up to? I mean, you mentioned classified documents, and obviously page 28, it starts in the indictment. I mean, that will be discussed in the courtroom. Each of those documents that's itemized in there tells a story. What country? Why? Why did he want that? Does he have any financial interest in that country? And I think that's something the public would want to know.
And I think it's critical that the yeah, but question be answered, because we can talk about Reality Winner, who it was a horrific case, or, her poor mom, but she was trying to help the United States. Like, she really was convinced she was helping us by exposing Russian interference in our elections. She still went to jail, but she wasn't a president. And for normal people who are Republican, but not necessarily MAGA, it's going to be crucial to explain why the other presidents and vice president, why Pence, Hillary Clinton, who was Secretary of State, especially
but
Hillary
when
Clinton.
They were asked, they gave him back,
and I think
he didn't.
And the thing is, it's so elementary and it seems so simple, but I promise you it will continue to be a live political issue, and it's one of the many reasons I think this case has to be adjudicated in front of us and not just interpreted through us in the media, because people need an answer to what was specifically different about what Trump did.